All right, I know there's maybe a couple shrink rips out there on this game, but um, that's not quite what this is. It's kind of a component review or overview. Maybe not review. Overview is, um, and it is like crazy. I know it's a little pricey. Not everybody can jump into something like this, but if you can, it's going to be incredible. I think this is Winter's Victory by New England Simulations, small publisher, um, but they do some really quality stuff. And I wanted to. I don't know if there's one out there that shows this, but this is all four. There's four maps, and as you can see laid out, it takes. I don't know what that would be, like 4 by 6 or something like that. Four by Yeah, something like 4 by 6. I could look at the components. You could do the math, but it's a big chunk. And there are scenarios that don't use all the maps, but when they're laid out, it just looks incredible. I think the shading on these it's again very subtle, but because it is a winter battle, um, you want to have that kind of snowy grain effect, blue gray, white, etc. But the maps, I think the maps look fantastic, and you can see there's a lot of stuff right on the maps. If you jump over here, I don't know if you can zoom in, looks like the turn record track on the side. And then a lot of charts over here on the right. There's actually, I'll pull this one out. There's actually a little more room on individual maps. And what's cool is, oops, if this gets a little steadier, when you pull this out, then you get that, I assume probably a turn record chart up there when you're just using the one map by itself. So there, it's, one thing I would say, if you get this game, be careful about opening the maps because they're very tightly folded, and so you have to do it. You can't just open up kind of willy-nilly. You have to, because there was one that I opened and I hadn't gotten one part of it unfolded all the way, and so there's a slight tear in one of my maps, which did not make me happy. They're true paper maps. They're not too heavy, but they're fantastic to look at, I think, especially with the counters. And as far as counters go, this is very typical NES. If you have any games from them, let's go down here and pull out. Love the look of the individuals. I'm gonna punch out one. Definitely need to be rounded for us idiots. Thick enough, I think. Two sides. A lot of detail. Fairly easy to read. Like the look of them. Like the colors. And as some people have noted too, that NES likes to do a row. I'm not sure why this is the case, but they like to do a row upside down and right side up. It kind of alternates. So just be careful how you're punching out and sorting them. But you get 1, 2, 3, 4 cards of units, and then some markers. That's 1, Oh, there's already some falling out that I have to watch out for. More markers. More markers. Some core Russian assignment markers. French assignment markers. Orders markers. And then here are the ones that, at least I don't know. I'm not sure about these gray ones that have the, oh my gosh, they're falling out like crazy. That have the two numbers on them. I haven't gotten into the rules yet, but I may use those, what do you call them? You use them in the Line of Battle series and for a lot of other things. Well, the name is slipping me now. Where you just rotate for the strength, because I don't fancy punching out all these and using these as hit markers, but we'll see after I read the rules. So I will definitely punch the main unit counters, and then we'll see after that. We'll sort through those. And then, I mean, oh, the rule book I have downstairs, but playbook, the quality of the artistry of their rules and playbook stuff is fantastic, as always. The rule book is, I think I remember it's 40 some pages, and you think, oh, that's not too bad, but it's pretty dense like this. This is a playbook, but it's going to take some time. If you've done La Bataille, I don't know how it compares, but as far as difficulty level, I'm sure it's more on that order. I've tried La Bataille several different ways, and I just never got into it, and I'm kind of crossing my fingers on this. Well, I had to pull the rule book up from downstairs to show this. Again, the cover's beautiful. Just really well done. I actually like the fact it's not glossy. But as you can see, beautiful illustrations for the opening couple pages with the counters. There's a lot to look at there, digest. But then once you start turning pages, and I've been reading this, like I said, at night on my phone before I fall to sleep. Hopefully it'll stick a little bit better the next day. But it's a lot of print. The illustrations that are there are nice, but it's not like a ton, as you can see. And I'm just, I think, well, yeah, like I said, I'm just at formations. And then that's a bunch of pages. Stacking, one page, terrain, one page, fire combat, like three and a half pages, shock combat, 4.5 pages, morale, recovery, page and a half. Then we get into smaller sections, army morale, brigade fatigue, command. Command is a nice chunk. I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. That's the actual last big section. So if you break it up, you figure out how to move, you figure out what formations you can have and how they change throughout the game. Terrain's short. Fire combat I don't think is that bad. Shock combat will be a little bit more, but then I think command is probably going to be the biggest chunk. So yeah, like I said, it's not even 40, 38 pages with an order, delivery, and activation example. It's beautifully illustrated here, but it's not large type. It's dense. So I've got the Oceans of Fire book, which is twice the size, but it's much larger type and a lot of illustrations. So I would say they compare in some ways to that, even though the page numbers are quite different. So that's the rule book. And then the player aids. I mean, beautiful player aids. They're fairly heavy, not too heavy, but it's not like it's a little heavier weight, and great shading, really cool details that are like a watermark. Scenarios stuff. I don't know, this there's so much detail in this. I love that watermark. And it doesn't detract from the card itself. More scenarios and terrain effects. It's not tons of terrain. You'll have to be careful about the shading, I think, for the elevation. Rally tables. Love the paintings that they've had and the portraits. This is who I have on my channel. The Russian general, Russian prince general. Yeah, this is kind of mouth-watering. Shock combat tables. Order of battle, beautiful. This is probably one of the highest quality tactical Napoleonic games I've seen, so I'm anxious to get into it. The one thing about games like this, I actually have the room to have this set up for the full battle if I use an adjacent card table for extra stuff, but it's like a project. So I'll get into some of the scenarios. But I found in a game like this that's got a high difficulty level that if I punch, sort, and round the counters before I've even gotten into the rules that much, that it kind of forces me to, okay, I'm part way there. So it gives me the impetus to dig in, and I think in this one, even I might even set up, I don't know if there's like this, we'll pick the small scenario and set it up, and that'll give me more incentive to dig into the rules, because it will take, I've been reading some at night. I think I'm into formations, through movement and formations, but that's the easy part. So anxious to give this a try. It might be a little bit before I give any kind of feedback, but I won't wait to do a full game. I might say something about the gameplay after a few turns if I get that far. So if you get a chance to, looks like one, if you're interested in Napoleonics, to give this a try. I do have the ILAW from the Swiss company Coming. I didn't get the initial on the initial wave of copies being sent out, but it should be coming. That looks really amazing too. I've noticed some components on other people's channels. That looks like you get a big bang for your buck, and it's going to be a little less involved with, probably a lot less involved than this one. So I'm anxious to see when that shows up, how that sits. So, all right, enough for now. I've got to get into the rules and see what happens from there. Thanks. We'll see you later. Oh, I wanted to add one more thing. This is a pretty cool addition to the set. You know, some people use the plastic arrows. These are metal, very high quality. So, however these are used, it will look really cool on the map. And then cylinders for game turn markers. This cool little pouch, velvet pouch. And then, you know, having custom dice isn't necessary, but these are, I just love the modeling of that. Mottling, M-O-T-T-L-I-N-G, on the green Russian side, Allied side, and the blue French. They feel great too. For those of us, tactile is important. So that is a cool addition. So thank you, NES.